So I have gone through every single X-Men film, and here we are now with the epic crossover, long-awaited, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's end this series. Deadpool and Wolverine begins with Wade Wilson, once again played by Ryan Reynolds, desecrating Wolverine's grave by digging up his skeleton and using his bones to kill a bunch of soldiers. God, I've missed this! Before flashing back 6 years to show that things aren't looking so good for the Merc with a mouth, he's broken up with Vanessa, the Avengers have rejected him as a new team member, his wife is going through a weird lawsuit with a director for some reason, and he now makes ends meet as a used car salesman. However, Wade is suddenly kidnapped at his birthday party. God damn it! By the Time Variance Authority, an organisation who seek to maintain the fabric of the multiverse, led by Mr. Paradox. God damn it! Played by Matthew McFadden. Basically, Wade's universe is on the verge of being destroyed as the now dead Wolverine was its anchor being. Good old Paradox wants to speed the process up. However, Wade for some reason isn't quite ready to let all of his friends and family die horribly, and through some kind of wibbly wobbly timey-wimey bullshit, he kidnaps a Wolverine from another universe, played again by Hugh Jackman, to replace the old one, and wacky hijinks ensue. I am soaking wet right now. After the release of Deadpool 2, Reynolds had said that he was keen to make another film with the character. Rather than a third movie, this would be an adaptation of the X-Force team, which would then spin off into other films. However, after the acquisition of Fox by Disney, it was announced that Deadpool would be integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and a third movie was once again on the cards. You don't say. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick were once again brought back to write the script, and reportedly their first draft included a plot where Deadpool goes to the North Pole to save Christmas. Stop it. However, this later changed when Reynolds proposed the idea of a team-up movie with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, which finally got the ball rolling on another Deadpool film. Interestingly, Jackman himself was also on board with the idea, despite always maintaining that Logan would be his final film with the character. This reportedly came about after he went to see the first Deadpool and instantly regretted his promise, saying that the only way he would consider coming back was in a Deadpool team-up movie. Till you're 90. By October 2019, Reynolds met with Marvel chief Kevin Feige to pitch various ideas for how Deadpool could be integrated into the MCU, but he was actually told that he couldn't include Wolverine at first, meaning that they had to go with a new idea. Reynolds then brought on Sean Levy as director, and the pair collaborated on a new script with Reese, Wernick and Zeb Wells, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't come up with an idea that wasn't a copy of the first two in some way. Reynolds wasn't willing to proceed with the third movie without a good story, and it got to the point that if they couldn't come up with one, he was prepared to scrap the film completely. Eventually, in August 2022, Jackman approached Reynolds about wanting to be part of the film, and he realised that Jackman's involvement would immediately solve all of the writer's problems. They once again approached Feige about including Wolverine in the story, but he was still hesitant as he felt Logan was a perfect end for the character and didn't want to undo that. However, he was finally convinced when the writers proposed the idea of Jackman playing an alternate universe version of Wolverine and assured him that the movie's events would not impact or detract from the ending of Logan. Okay, Peanut. Guess we're getting that team up after all. Finally, in September 2022, it was officially announced that Hugh Jackman would be returning to his most iconic role for the third Deadpool film, and an on-set photo even revealed that he would finally be wearing the character's iconic yellow outfit from the comics and animated series. That only took 20 years. Filming ran from May 2023 until January the next year, and Reynolds later said that this was the Deadpool film that he enjoyed most working on, largely due to his collaboration with Jackman. He even asked for a lower budget than Disney was prepared to offer them, as he wanted to replicate the making of the first Deadpool, but the budget limitations increased the filmmaker's creativity. Though the movie is now somewhat infamous for its plethora of superhero cameos, there were originally planned to be even more, including Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, the cast of the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, and Terry Crews as Bedlam from Deadpool 2, but these never made it past the planning stages. He even approached Robert Downey Jr. himself for a quick cameo as Iron Man, but he turned them down after reading the script, making him the only actor who was asked to appear to do so. Oh yeah, the way he left the MCU was perfect. Why would you ever bring him back? That would just completely ruin Iron Man's death. That would just be stupid. Not my problem. Deadpool and Wolverine was released on July the 26th, 2024 and was a monumental hit, grossing $1.3 billion worldwide, making it not only the highest grossing X-Men film, but surpassing Joker to become the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. However, despite being widely praised by fans, critical reception was more mixed than the first two. Some praised the movie as a return to form for the MCU, as well as Reynolds and Jackman's chemistry, whilst others criticised it for relying too heavily on cameos and excessive fan service, and they felt that the character's crude humour had been toned down compared to the previous films. Robbie Collin from the Daily Telegraph particularly despised the movie, giving it 1 out of 5 stars and saying, Howard Hawks once said that all it took to make a movie worthwhile was 3 great scenes and no bad ones. Flip the digits and throw another 100 or so bad ones into the mix and you have Deadpool and Wolverine, which feels less like a reset for the once mighty Marvel franchise and more like its spiritual dead end. Oh, I'm terribly sorry to hear about Fun stabbing your mother and shitting in her mouth as a child. I will pray for you.
Something funny, bub?
Yeah, I don't get it. To each their own, but I don't get what's not to love with this. The film opens with Wade literally saying that they're not going to hide the fact that they're ruining the ending to Logan. Apparently Reynolds said that fans would think they're practically digging up Wolverine's corpse and desecrating it, so they decided to do quite literally that, and it's hilarious! All while dancing to a song that Gen Zs all over TikTok for some reason would think that this movie invented, which was foreshadowed in movie years earlier. It's the perfect opening scene, all with him casually chatting to Logan's skeleton. There's some great moments as the music is sunk up to match the action, it's brilliant. Weirdly, I'm not understanding why exactly Deadpool gets turned down by the Avengers. I mean, Happy says it's because Wade needs to save people, whereas people need to be saved, but I mean, he can fight crime and can't die. He's a pretty valuable asset. Although it feels like we're missing an entire film. Man went from saving the world to being a car salesman and openly discussing sex in front of children.
I don't have a lot of vaginal sex.
Huh, no wonder Disney bought the rights. Obviously the movie has the standard fourth wall jokes, but I do think they're a lot more creative in this one and not as forced. He sees a possible future clip of Thor holding in Cry, which is hilarious. He tells Fox to suck it. He mocks superhero films for having a longer runtime. He mocks the MCU for currently being
Welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining at a bit of a low point.
Fair play for being self-aware. He threatens to tell his real-life wife when Logan touches him and even makes a comment about a TV show. He even makes a joke about Jackman's real-life divorce. They mock Disney for being too cheap to get Ian McKellen back and how Chris Evans was only available briefly. The production hell for the Blade reboot, how crap the multiverse story is now. That being said, the humour doesn't always work.
Get my country's name out of your mouth.
Was that a reference to the Chris Rock Will Smith slap? Because that happened like 18 months before the film came out. Get with the times, Reynolds! We do get a funny montage of him visiting several different Wolverines, including Henry Cavill, which is pretty funny to poke fun at DC.
We will treat you so much better than those down the street.
But even Hulk shows up. Now you might say that these cameos are nothing more than fan service, which I've always hated that term. I can't believe you're just trying to cater to the fans. Who the else are you catering towards? They're gardeners? You say it's just lazy, just nostalgia, and to that I say, go to hell! It's fun! The cameos, not hell. They end up in a forgotten wasteland with the 20th Century Fox logo, which is amazing. And the bad guy's hideout is a giant Ant-Man suit, considering that franchise has also now been binned off.
Huh. All Rudd finally aged.
It's cool to see Wolverine and Deadpool finally fight for realsies this time. Although earlier they say that Deadpool's swords are made up out of the that kills Logan.
Adamantium katanas?
So then why are these not doing any more damage or killing Logan? The Chris Evans cameo is fantastic. It's hyped so well and Deadpool fanboying thinking he's Cap is hilarious. And the reveal is one of the funniest things in this entire franchise.
Avengers Flame on! Sorry, what now?
Sabretooth shows up, and this is really hyped as a fight people have been waiting for decades for, but have they? I also love how this was put in the trailer as if he's the main villain and then he dies in 2 seconds. This movie is genius. I don't even think the cameos are forced. Much like Infinity War, I feel like they come and go in the story naturally. And Deadpool mocking political correctness and Gen Zs will never not be funny.
Oh, ableism, great. That's not gonna go over well with the woke mob. Gen Z and their trauma bragging.
Though I feel slightly attacked with the last one. Johnny Storm also dies instantly, which looks awesome. But then why doesn't Jada Pinkett Smith here just kill Deadpool or Wolverine instantly if it's that easy? I mean, she has plenty of opportunities to, and she just never does it.
I'm going to boil your brains on an atomic level.
Which you didn't do before because they even say it's possible.
Don't you dare do me like Johnny.
Although she goes into Wade's mind to see his memories of Vanessa and alters them, which is quite messed up. She's crazy. There's a random dog that keeps showing up called Dogpaw, and look, I love dogs, but it's just random and not particularly funny. It's worth it, though, to meet Nice Paul, which is basically just hot Ryan Reynolds.
I can gently tap the fourth wall, too. The proposal. The was that?
The randomness is a frequent thing in this. He suddenly breaks into a huge rant about the Honda Odyssey as it's apparently such a crap car. The major part of the film was Reynolds and Jackman, and they do have some fantastic chemistry, with Jackman giving one of the greatest speeches in movie history.
You know what? You're a joke. No wonder the Avengers didn't take you, or the X-Men, and they'll take anyone. I mean, you are a ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. I have never met a sadder, more attention-starved, jabbering little prick in my entire life, and that says a lot, because I've been alive for more than 200 years. And I'll tell you, That bald chick was right about one thing. You will never save the world. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. And I wish I could say you die alone, but it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us!
And then Deadpool's random punch really makes it brilliant. They fight in the car as Grease plays. The movie's just an absolute blast. Before we naturally see more cameos from Elektra, Blade, and Channing Tatum's Gambit, who just has a silly voice. He has a silly voice.
You can call me the Gambit.
It's been a while since I've seen Sling Blade. Hit me again.
Got that dome gonna come off with it.
I'm so sorry, beautiful. I want this to be gentle. Who is your dialect coach?
And surprisingly, this movie actually made fans want to see a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. What, with that accent? Really? For the whole film? And Laura even comes back, which does give some more development for the new Logan. It's suggested that all of the X-Men from his timeline are dead because of him, and the thing is, we didn't really need to see exactly what happened or what he did. Lord knows we've seen enough Wolverine flashbacks and origin stories in this franchise. Jackman's performance is so good as this broken man that we can tell the impact it's made already. And he likes to ruin everyone's fun, so he's okay in my book.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Zone like chicken and go. Yeah!
We're doing this.
You're all dead.
My God, read the room.
It's actually quite impressive that they rebooted the Logan timeline, and yet there's still so much development, and you really care for him and his backstory. Yeah, it's Endgame Thanos done right. That's the thing, you'd expect Jackman to half-ass the performance, but no, he really doesn't. He goes all out. They all take on the bad guys at Cassandra's lair, and it's a great sequence. It looks amazing. Even though Gambit is just a pleb who talks funny, it is cool to see him kick some ass. Although it makes no sense that Cassandra lets them both go back home. None whatsoever. They save her life, but she's made it clear that she was going to kill them no matter what, and then what? Decided to change her mind for some reason? It goes against her entire character. We get a huge barrage of Deadpools, including Blake Lively and their real-life kids, Matthew McConaughey and Nathan Fillion, because...
Boys are so silly.
But it's hilarious as he uses nice pulls of Hugh and S.H.I.E.L.D. convinced that he'll survive, but it turns out he's the only Deadpool who doesn't regenerate. For some reason. And nobody shoots at Logan because he's holding a dog. And yeah, Logan finally putting the mask on for nerds everywhere to jizz their pants is pretty epic. We get a long video game-like sequence all in one shot of them taking down all the Deadpools, and it looks insane, only for all of them to regenerate instantly. And they all stand down because Peter shows up, and everyone loves Peter. The comedy is just, it's definitely catered to me. It's just dumb. It's just dumb fun. This movie's great! But when Deadpool and Wolverine both attempt to sacrifice themselves, it's not really intense or anything. There's not much suspense considering nobody ever stays dead in this franchise. They can just go and get another version of them. Except Tony and Black Widow. They're dead. They always stay dead. Never bring them back. They're dead, dead, dead. It is pretty cool as they work together though. But even when they're suspected dead, Paradox says that there's no way to bring them back despite Logan literally being brought back from the dead. Have you been paying attention?
I'll probably see you around.
Probably not.
Until I need the money again. The movie is honestly incredible. I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I do genuinely think it might be the best X-Men film by quite a considerable margin. The cameos feel natural, the comedy is brilliant, the action's spectacular. It's hilarious, and all of the fan service fits perfectly into the plot. It's just perfect with some great chemistry and development from the two leads. It's certainly a damn breath of fresh air after the majority of shit I've sat through during this marathon. As with the MCU and DCEU, I'll attempt to keep up with this franchise as and when they come out, but I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to that shit.